Welcome to another Friday Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind call. This call is all about how to make more money in less time. It was inspired by Darren Hardy's Insane Productivity Program. So we do talk about Darren Hardy's Insane Productivity Program. We recommend that every mortgage coach go through that program. All the leaders, Todd Bookspan, who's on today's call. What's up, Todd?
Not much. How are you all doing?
On this call? All right.
I'm here. I was muted. I'm doing awesome. So excited to be here and super proud of this group for pushing our Facebook group membership over 1,000 this past week. So excited to have all you here today.
Absolutely. By the way, I'm going to show our Facebook page because I am going to shine a light on a few things. So if you're watching this call, you're seeing my screen, and this is our private Facebook group. If you are not a member, be a member. And also, we want to grow this group. We want to have the best mortgage professionals in America as part of this, engaging on Friday at 9 o'clock and engaging on our Facebook group throughout the week. So please, one, refer other folks, and two, like what you like, share what you think is valuable, and make comments along the way. We also have Michelle Town on today's call. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning and happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday to you. Michelle is going to be the special guest next week. I'll let her tee up her topic. But before Michelle, has a topic she wants to talk about today, we have Robert Stover again. I asked Robert Stover to come for a few reasons. One, we've been having this conversation about the referral magnet contest, and there was some content and some posts that were put up this week. So I want to make sure everybody studies this. This is, I would just say, a requirement to making more money in less time. This little summary, you can see it on my screen. Derek Cheney provided some advice for Jenny. So Jenny was the first referral magnet video winner. The Mortgage Coach marketing team edited her video. Absolute must watch that video. It's only a minute, maybe 2 minutes long. And then Derek Cheney weighed in with some advice. And then Robert Stover provided some advice. And this advice is so that when she posts that video on Facebook, one, it gets watched, and two, it generates referrals. So I'm going to hand it off to Robert in just another minute. Before I do that, I also wanted to make sure everybody checked out a LinkedIn post that I put up a couple days ago. It's called, well, I actually changed the name of it. It's actually now called 10 Real-World Scripts for Mortgage Advisors. And I wrote this blog post from the transcript of the call I did with Tim Brahim, Jeremy Forcier, Danny Harani. I had that transcribed, and then I wrote a blog post so that I could put it into text. It's a couple-minute read. A link to the videos there if you haven't watched it. It's absolutely among the best interviews I've done and among the most valuable interviews that we've done. But then I wanted to make it super actionable, so I broke down every script. So there's 10 scripts. How does Danny find out what his customers' hopes and dreams are? Here's the script. How does Jeremy explain the total cost analysis before forwarding it? I'm not going to go through each one of these, but there's 10 scripts that we transcribed. We created into a blog post. It's on LinkedIn. And again, if your goal is to make more money, and if time is a challenge, this will help you make more money in less time. Check it out. So with that said, we are going to transition to Robert Stover. He's got some thoughts that will help us be more successful. And then he's also got a program that he has designed just for the mortgage coach community to help our community of mortgage professionals become more successful. So with that, I am going to bring Robert on stage. I'm going to share his desktop. Robert, go ahead and jump on stage here. And there you are. What's up, my man?
How's it going? Let me know if the window shows up here.
Yep, the window shows up. So for anybody who doesn't know who Robert is, he's a consultant that I've worked with for, I think, almost, is it 20 years, Robert? Maybe it's a long time.
I think it's too long.
Yeah, I over the course of that relationship, I've paid him hundreds of thousands of dollars for his advice, a lot of the marketing content. When I first brought Mortgage Coach to market and I launched Mortgage Coach, Robert had a very heavy hand in everything that we did from a marketing standpoint, and he's still a friend, a mentor, and a tremendous marketing coach. So, Robert, I'm going to jump off screen and walk us through some thoughts.
I will. All right, guys, so hopefully you can all see the referral opportunities there. So over the last 2 months, I've been doing these talks, and a few times we've made offers where I can, strategy sessions where I've gotten out and talked with a lot of you about what's going on with your business. And during those talks, I've actually learned a lot more about your industry and your challenges, and some common challenges and opportunities came up. And what I want to do is just go through those in a way, kind of summarize up the gaps that I see in the mortgage game. And the first one is, look at this like a chain of action. And most of us, we're good planners. We start with the end results. And, okay, here's what I want to happen. Here's what I want to happen this year, in the next 6 months, or here's where I want my career to go. Then we kind of come back to, okay, where are we at, right? Reality. Where are we at in relation to that? And we kind of form our plans and we take action. And almost universally, everybody was doing this. They knew what they wanted, they knew where they're at, and they were taking action to do it. But then there was this gap in the middle. And what I call it is hoping and waiting. And that's because the actions weren't tied to direct measurable results. And this is almost universal with the folks I talk with. And as a marketing guy, a marketing strategy guy, I like my action tied to a little more actionable, a little more measurable. Like, okay, I've posted on Facebook, I've done emails to my clients, I've done this. What happened? And instead of just like, okay, I'm going to post a lot, and I should have thrown an image up here. I'm going to become a content marketing squirrel, you know, and I'm just going to pump out video and pump out this and pump out that, and then I'm stuck in this. Well, I'm hoping that something comes from all that activity. So what I saw is a lot of loan officers that were working their tails off, fertilizing and planting the field. They were working the referral relationships. They were building them, they're nurturing them. They're working their past lists. They're active in Facebook marketing. But where they're dropping the ball is the harvest. And there are some things that I noticed kind of universally that could be done to pull more crops out of the field faster. Instead of having to like, okay, I hope the financial planner remembers me when he does his annual review with his client, and he just happens to, something comes up about a loan or financing, and they remember to call me. I hope he remembers to do that. And so there's a lot of that, and just my bent is I like things that are more putting the control back in your hands, putting the control of your career back in your hands. This is the philosophy. You know, patience might tell I'm going to just kill something. And so there's a lot of patience in the industry, a lot of people doing hard work, and we just want to move it to a little more harvesting as it goes. One of the missed opportunities I saw was folks not working their own databases, their own client databases and things. So I saw a bit of that. Some of you are just like amazing at it. And for those of you not working your database, when I talk to, let's call them Group A, Group B, Group A is working their database. Almost a third of the revenue or their production comes out of their own client database. That's a third of the referrals, a third of the you know, refinances, a third of the new homes. All of that came out of their own database. But in Group B, they were ignoring all that opportunity, and they were off working the referral sources real hard and whatever, and depending on that completely. So I just really want to point out, for those of you that haven't yet committed to working your own database, please, 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 please start working that. And because that's just this huge spilled opportunity that you've got. Almost universally, everybody had an opportunity to do a little better job, and this comes back to my kind of that action marketing, control marketing, of using different baits to, for example, even going after your own list, on putting bait out there that people would want to give or tell friends about on the list. So you're bringing more referrals in. There's a lot of opportunity to get a little tighter at doing that. Another real commonality I saw was, call this the strategic pyramid. We just named it right now. So, you know, there's things like, well, what am I even doing? That's level one. What am I even doing in the loan business? What are my focuses? What markets am I going after? What referral partners am I going after? What types of loan am I going after? And we're kind of working our way up the pyramid, right? Almost universally, that's not where any of the pain is. The pain is all up around, well, how do I do a video ad? How do I do a Facebook ad? What do I say in my email copy? What do I do with that? This thing I did isn't working. What do I say when someone's in front of me with a presentation? All of that's critically important, but it's only the small portion of the pyramid. So there was an opportunity for folks, because that's where they feel the pain and frustration, and I get that, and it's universal with all businesses. But a lot of the true causes of the problem were a step or two back on the strategic pyramid. So there's a chance to get a little more strategic in how you're even approaching in a market, how you even approach referral partners, and how you nurture them and things like that. Here's a gap I personally fall into daily, which is theory and the real world. And like even on these calls, like I share stuff on breakthroughs, and I share stuff on referral marketing and things like that, and then everybody kind of goes back to it, and so there's this theory, but there's no one there to help you in the real world applying it. And so this is as much my fault in making the content more real world applicable. But there's a lot of folks that kind of fall in that gap, like, okay, oh, that sounded great, and then they get out and life happens, and you stop implementing and things like that. So I fall into this gap daily, and a lot of you were joining me on the pump there, going down. So Dave and I talk like, okay, those are the challenges. What can we do to help you guys overcome them? And
hey,
do it.
Robert, I did want to add, if you could go back to that slide with someone falling off the cliff. This one really hit me because I interviewed Robert for 30 minutes. We talked about all the best practices, and then I saw the new videos. And some folks implemented a lot of what Robert did, but there just wasn't enough, like, okay, I heard it, I created it, and this feedback loop. And so I see this one all the time. This is one of my biggest enemies, and I know, Todd, you as a coach, you feel the pain here, where we align on a strategy, we align on some best practices, and then they don't get implemented. Well, when it comes to the referral magnet videos and then how you present them, little things make a big difference. The headline, the words, the science of marketing, little things make a big difference. So, one of the things that I'm super excited about, one, what you're sharing with us now, Robert, and two, the fact that you're going to actually help our community fine-tune things. I think I don't want to say we're going to solve it, because it's, this is a constant process of getting better, but I do think of everything that you bring to the table, Robert, you're really helping loan officers do a better job of executing in the real world when it comes to the science of marketing. So keep it going, brother. I just wanted to add a little color around this one.
All right. So, so Dave and I were talking, like, okay, how can we help people fall in the gap list? And kind of what we come up with is what we're calling the Referral Marketing Bootcamp. And I wanted to make this, I've got a lot more to share with you, like just on the star chain hook thing, like on the stars, there's like 5 simple openings that you guys can do and just pull out of, just have ready to go. And so there's a lot more I can share on that. But then we didn't want to leave it where, okay, I'll do some training and now you guys go work on it on your own. And so what I wanted to do is create like a hands-on boot camp where I do some more training with you, and then we open the lines and we actually hammer out stuff that's going to go into the real world. Your copy, your video scripts, your ads, all of that stuff, where I can sit and help you create it and do it in a group setting, because it wouldn't be affordable otherwise. So what we've come up with is this boot camp. It's limited to 12 folks, and it's going to be 6 weekly trainings starting November 1st, I believe. I'll have to look at my calendar. The first Wednesday there in November. And it'll be coaching and content creation workshop. And that means I'm going to teach you stuff, and then we're going to do it. Are you going to go away and do stuff, and you're going to come back the next week, and you're going to go, what about this? And I'm going to go, well, let's change this, or let's modify this, or, oh, wow, here's your real hook for your piece there. And so you're getting hands-on advice when we go like that. And we're going to focus on marketing and referral partners. There's some real opportunities there to pull more leads out of your referral partners, more referrals out of your referral partners. and whatnot. I want to teach you the active marketing philosophy, and once you got it, you got it. That again, I'll help with referral partners, it'll help with your own list on pulling things out more, giving people more reason to refer you, and making that more actionable, making your ads or just the content you do on Facebook and things, where you're actually pulling more people out of the market. We're talking about creating powerful emails, videos, and ads. We're going to go into depth. I'm going to take the star chain hook, go a little deeper on it, and then run you guys through it time so you can do it and practice, and it just becomes real easy for you to do. Next, we're going to focus. Some of the folks I talk with, you have like 5 opportunities you're kind of going after all at once. And as we talked and drilled down, one of them kind of stood out as like, okay, here's the low-hanging fruit for you. And so in the calls, because we're going to open it live, I'm going to be able to do coaching and help you zero in and challenge your strategy and what you're doing and things like that to help you out there on the strategy side. I'm going to cover a story selling format. It follows the 12 elements of influence, and it's just a great way to tell a complete story, and you can make it as complex or as simple as you want when it goes in. But story selling is so powerful, and so I want to give you all the elements, and then you have them, and there's no guessing. It makes it real easy to craft your stories and all of your content and your videos and things like that. Real important is this time of year is teeing up for next year. You know, kind of coming into a little bit of a slowdown, and you've really got the opportunity to plan ahead and line some of these things up, line up some of these relationships with the referral partners the way that I want to teach you to do it, and have that ready to go when the market starts going, so you can get in there and seize those opportunities before your competitors. So in summary, it's the first 12, the investment's $1,500, and you can sign it up for it at the robertstover.com Bootcamp. Should take you out to just a sign-in page, and then once you sign in, I'll contact you and give you the information. I put here a single loan pays you back a couple times over for the training, and what I want to do is right now give you in advance your investment back. And like Dave said, you know, we posted the information in, about Jenny and some headlines and stuff she could use for an ad. John Bauman ran out there, and this is, the dude took action, man. He took the headline that I did for her. So if you want to update your home but thought it was financially crazy, you're going to love this story. That's the lead, that's the star. Then he went into problem, solution, result. Dear past client wanted a new kitchen, but they're strapped with credit card bills and a car loan. We took some cash out of their home, paid off their bills, and had enough left over to get them their kitchen. Result, ready for this, total payments actually went down this much. How much freedom is hidden in your mortgage? And that was one of the ad headlines we had. And he just slapped it on the end. I would add in a phone number or give me a call or PM me in Facebook just to kick it up just a little notch there. But if you guys want, anybody that's been in the business a while, you guys already have these stories. Take this verbatim. Take that lead verbatim. Take the ending verbatim, add a thing to it. Put your own story in there. And look at the results this guy's getting. Wow, I'm interested. People are raising their hands. Whoa, this is great. So already he's going to get people that are interested in doing this kind of loan with him. So I would encourage you guys, if you're like teetering on the course or something, you want to pay for it, do this. Do it today. Do it over the weekend. Put your story down. Do it verbatim. It's already written for you. It's proven. Get out there and put it to work. So just a summary, limited to 12, 6 weekly training, coaching, workshops. These are going to be about taking action and me helping you shape the material. And there you go. There's the summary. And you can sign up below at robertstover.com Bootcamp.
All right, guys. So I put a link to this in GoToWebinar chat. I put a link to this in our Facebook page. And if you're watching this on the recording of the video, there'll be a link below in the description. So I have been trying to get Robert to come into our community. Typically, he only works with companies, CEOs like myself, people that are going to pay him, you know, $5,000 to $10,000 a month or commit to, you know, $20,000 plus relationships. I mean, that's Robert. You know, he helps entrepreneurs and small businesses grow. I've been trying to, you know, come up with a way that, hey, Robert, how can you work with individual LOs? And this is what he came up with. He's like, hey, if you can get 12 loan officers to come in, I work with them in groups, so I don't have to talk to them one-on-one, nothing personal loan officers. this is how I would engage with the mortgage coach community. So, from my perspective, you're getting the value as though you're writing $5,000 checks, but I also think you're getting the value of more loans, and you will become good at writing, these story-selling messages, better at creating headlines that get all the other content you're creating to work. Now we put this program together, and we've been featuring Facebook a lot because the thing about Facebook is everybody's doing it, and you can get immediate results, and you can test it. But all these concepts, they work with your past customer database. Back when I was an originator and became one of the top originators in the country, Robert, I wrote big checks because I had a big team. I did a lot of production, and he helped me write a letter that I would give to my CPAs and financial planners that then they would send to their customer base. So this referral marketing bootcamp, is not just going to be about Facebook marketing. It's going to be about how to get more referrals, on Facebook, with email, with your strategic partners like realtors. It's going to be much bigger than that. So it really is limited to 12. Hopefully we get, 12 people, might sell out today. I know Dan Keller already told me, he doesn't even know what the pitch was and what the deal was, and he's like, I'm engaging with Silver. So I know it's going to sell out quick. You've got a link. Check it out. By the way, Michelle said she just signed up. So you've got Michelle Town on the team, Robert. Let's go ahead, and does any other of the mentors on the call, Todd, do you have any questions for Robert or anything to add? And then Michelle, we'll see what you have to say, and then we'll open up more topics.
No, I just love it. I think that the fact that Robert's willing to do this at a reasonable price, knowing how much money you've paid Robert over the years for coaching, I think it's going to be huge. So I'm definitely excited to hear what people learn.
Awesome.
Yeah, one of the things
Michelle?
I'm most excited about sharing is this. We've created a presentation to get referral partners to go, oh, okay, I'll mail my list to you. I'll mail my list for you. And there's a selfish reason for them to do it, and it makes logical sense, and we've tested it out. My crash test dummies on the call today. Hi, Brian. And so it works. And so I'm pretty darn excited because it gives you guys so much more control with these relationships as it goes forward.
Michelle, any questions for Robert or any thoughts?
No, I'm super excited. This actually falls way in line with what I talk about next week is, this is not the time to slow down. This is the time to build, because this is when everybody wants to slow down. Holidays are here. Things are coming in. And one of the reasons why I truly believe that I have consistent business, I'm not any better than anybody else. I'm just structured. And everything has a reason. Everything that I do has some kind of result, whether it be a touch to a client just to say, hey, we're here, or just to stay in front of them. There's always something to do. And I think that this course can actually help give you some ideas of things that I don't know what to do. And I'm a work in progress. So I love it. I'm so grateful for you to offer that to us.
Thanks, and it'll be great having you.
Well, I just saw a question from Scott Cummings in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He said, dude, I signed up, totally stoked. You've got Michelle on the team. I'm sure Dan will sign up. And so already you've got some pretty successful folks that are closing a lot of business that will make this a great community. So Robert, super grateful for the value you've just brought. I don't want to call it for free, but you've brought us a lot of advice with the interviews that I've done with the past 2 months. And thanks for figuring out a program that would accommodate individual loan officers. If anybody else does have a question for Robert, he is going to stay on the call. Feel free to post those questions in the GoToWebinar. Also, if you're watching the recording and you have questions for Robert, you're watching this from YouTube, check it out below. Engage. The more we can engage on social, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, the better. So, Robert, anything else you want to say before we transition to just other topics today?
No, I'm just kind of looking forward to this. It's going to be a lot of fun sharing some of this stuff and bringing some of this direct action into the mortgage business. And there's going to be some breakthroughs.
Yep. So, by the way, Ed just asked, is this a one-time offer or will there be an opportunity at other times? So, I'm not going to put Robert on the spot. And I would just tell you, if it goes successfully, I think Robert will do this again. If it doesn't and it's a pain, again, he's an entrepreneur and a consultant himself, and he's juggling opportunities. He works with executives, he works with a lot of folks. So I think it's pretty likely it will happen again, but no guarantees. And then I would also say I know this first round is going to there's going to be some pretty successful people in this 12-person community, so I think that's valuable. By the way, Lisa Kelly said, can you email me personally? She had some questions. So Lisa, Robert, if people have questions, how can they get in touch with you? Because I don't want to be your assistant.
Sure. Come on, Dave. Yeah. Stover at robertstover.com.
All right. And then Brad just said, where do I sign up? So Brad, I put a link in chat. There'll be a link. There's already a link in our Facebook group. It should be at the top. It's the most recent post. And again, everybody, if you're watching the recording, it's down below. So if there are no other questions, Robert, you're welcome to stay on this call and stay on the screen as one of the mentors for the rest of the call. But everybody, this is a mastermind. So what you want to talk about is what we want to talk about. If you have a question, you can post that and go to webinar, and we'll make sure they all get answered. If Scott Morris just signed up too, right on, Scott. Welcome to the club. If you want to raise your hand and actually just talk, you could do that. Let me actually call on someone. And then Michelle, if you could be thinking of a topic that you want to talk about after we bring in Scott Cummings, be ready to share something. Hey, Mr. Scott Cummings, I've unmuted you. What's up, buddy?
Hey, brother. Totally stoked for the Robert Stover thing. I was going to reach out to Robert and engage him. We do a lot of video, and so I say, hey, thank you for your generous offer, and honored to be part of this first group, and looking forward to contributing.
Oh, Scott, I'm glad to have you. I recognize your name from way back, like in the mid-'90s. So.
Yeah, that's right. Savage and I formed like one of the first mastermind groups in the country, so it's been a while, but we're still here and we're getting after it. So I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's got that picture you posted on your Facebook page a couple of weeks ago brought back some good memories. I showed that to my wife and kids, and I had my hat on backwards, and they're like, Dad, why don't you do that with us? So this weekend I'm going to wear my hat on backwards for my kids. Thanks to you.
Cool. Thank you so much.
All right, brother. Hey, if you have anything else to add, feel free to raise your hand. Scott Morris, you jumped in here, so obviously you liked it. Scott, I've unmuted you. Any questions or comments?
No questions. Just super pumped to get in with Robert. Watching the last couple weeks, and I've got 4 videos I've made with your star, hook, and call to action, and I'm getting them out there. And just
excellent.
Really appreciate this call. I've been on it for about a year now, and it's just fantastic. It's motivating. It's focused. Helps me stay focused, and it's exciting. I love it. Love where how my mindset has changed over the year from this call, from insane productivity, just enjoying the business a lot more. And like Michelle said, I feel I've been doing it a long time. I'm not any better than anybody else. I have a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge, but the structure and the process and systems that you create help you be just, helps make it more fun. It helps you make you much more or potentially much more successful than you already are. Love it.
All right. Great. Hey, Scott, great job. And so have you been through all the modules in Insane Productivity? Have you gone through the program?
Oh yeah, like 1.5 times.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, thank you for, again, it's folks like you that are giving back. Thanks for investing in the community and sharing your success. By the way, are there any topics that you'd like us to cover over the next couple of weeks? Anything come to mind on, Dave, I would either like you to bring this guest in or have this topic. Is there anything that you can think of off the top of your head?
The first thing that came to mind is maybe some targeted Facebook marketing.
Okay.
I don't know if it's just something that came off the top of my head.
Hey, it fits under the umbrella of more money and less time. I will throw that on the runway, and we'll see how we can bring it to the community. And I'm going to put you back on mute, but if you do have questions or suggestions, please share them in one of our places. Thanks, guys.
Will do.
All right. So Michelle, I'm going to throw it to you as one of the co-leaders of today's call. Any topics that you'd like to cover today? And then also tell everybody a little bit about what you're going to do next week so they know what to look forward as when you're the guest next week.
Thank you, Dave. Robert, thank you so much. My favorite slide of yours was falling off the cliff, because I think all of us are victims of that. We have these great ideas and we can't implement them, right? We just don't know how to, and they just sizzle out and they fall off a cliff. And that's totally me sometimes. I have some great ideas or some crazy ideas that pop in my head and I just can't implement them. So I'm really looking forward to meeting with some individuals that do things a little bit better than me and taking some of that and making it my own. So thank you for that opportunity. I'm really grateful for it.
Oh, sure. I'm excited to have you. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I did want to touch on that Facebook advertising, something somebody just, my coach had just done something with me, and since I'm still kind of new to videos, I'm still getting my feet wet in them. I thought I'd throw this out there of what one of our co-people are doing in our group is she's doing like a Facebook. She's going to her local communities, and so she brands in one area, which is really nice. But she'll go and she'll go down to the local beauty parlor and say, hey, do you have 5 minutes? And she'll do like a video on the local, she'll do a video on the local beautician. And the beautician gets to have 2 or 3 minutes to tell them why, this is great, how long she's been in the community. And then at the end, the call to action is, hey, we've not partnered up, but, thank you, Michelle from Arbor Financial for bringing this to us. And then I have a 1-minute video in there. So she does that a lot. And she's having great success with it locally. So that might be something to do with some Facebook advertising. I'm also taking a class on Facebook, so I'll share anything that I learn in that as well. And hopefully we'll find some more in Robert's class as well, how to do that. But next week,
real quick before you go off of that, because I do think, the world is on Facebook, and whether loan officers have a presence or whether they're using it strategically, it's something that we got to talk about, and it is more money and less time. And then, of course, Darren taught us in Insane Productivity, it can also suck away a lot of time and distract us from working on the things that matter most. So I am dedicated, everybody, to finding the right guest, putting the right call together, and talking about, how do we make more money and less time with Facebook, with specific coverage on Facebook marketing. I'm going to post a thread here in a minute. If you have a guest that you think I should invite, or you have, as Todd and I design that hour, if you have specific bullet points or specific guests, please let us know, and we will put that on the runway, and we will plan for a call over the next 8 weeks that addresses that. Back to you, Michelle.
And Dave, I do have, remind me to tell you offline who I would recommend. I'm in her class right now, and it's pretty phenomenal.
Well, Michelle, if you could, give me something offline, but also post in this thread, put a comment. So I want to make everybody aware of who are the different people we're considering, what are the strategies, and we'll talk offline, and also look forward to your comments on Facebook.
Okay, fantastic. So one of the things that I really wanted to bring in, I know this is a community of us, exchanging ideas. So next week is going to be a little bit different because I love to do different. I really am going to need some help from my mortgage coach professionals that are on the list, and I really wanted to have, if I can get like 4 or 5 people that are willing to share just one thing that they're doing that they think sets them apart. And I truly do believe that I don't slow down in the holiday months. I do still take time for myself, but I don't slow down my marketing. That's a lot of the times that I get in front of the people I couldn't get in front of in February or March when everybody else is trying to get to them. So I just wanted to talk a lot about that next week, as well as some of the different strategies that people are trying, because we all have so many great ideas, and even if it's not the idea that you can use, if it's not exactly perfect for you, it might trigger something else in your mind that says, oh my gosh, I can do that for my community, or I can do that for my business, or gosh, I mean, what Robert has said, one of the number one things that people don't do is they don't keep in touch with their existing database. That's a gold mine. And whether that be you trying to, do a refinance for them or communicating with them, but I get referrals from all of my databases just by my 3 calls that I do every year to each of my clients. And they are phone calls. So that would be the one topic I'm going to talk about is I have 3 things I do every year for every client that I've closed every year. And that is a gold mine for me because 60% of my business is referral, 60 to 70. And then the rest is business referrals, and the other ones are, 10 to 15% are just leads. So it's a huge part of my business. So I'd love to share what I do. But I'd like for other people to participate as well.
Okay, so I want to make sure I heard you, so I'm going to say what I think you said. You're going to focus next week on everything you can do between now and the end of the year so that coming into January and February, you kill it. So it's not like, hey, I'm going to close the year strong so I can blast off in January and February. It's like, what can I do now so that my calendar is scheduled, my business is coming, January and February a blast off. Is that netting out what you are going to talk about next week?
Yeah, I would say don't stop climbing the mountain just because it's the holidays. I mean, you keep climbing because it's the time that you're going to get in front of more people January, February, and March than you will in January, February, and March, when all the new loan officers coming in are going to be, making those phone calls, every, 200 phone calls a week. I don't do that.
Right.
I make those calls 2 months before that. That makes sense.
Well, it does. And I've interviewed Michelle, so I kind of know where the puck is going. And let's face it, so much of the money that you make as a top loan officer happens during spring home buying season and a purchase market. And let's assume that next year is not a refi market, it's a purchase market. And a lot of loan officers think that means the race starts in March. No, the race doesn't start in March. The race starts right now, And so everybody on this call, if you want 2018, regardless of what the market is, because the MBA, Fannie and Freddie are all predicting less loans to be done last year than they were last year. So, there's going to be less loans to be done in 2018. Just assume that, at least 10%. But that doesn't mean you need to do 10% less loans. You could do 50% more loans. You could do 20% more loans if you have a great game plan. So Michelle is going to focus on that next week. She needs volunteers. She needs people to participate. So Michelle, what could anybody do right now to raise their hand as someone who's going to engage and participate next week? Like, what do you need them to do today to help you next week?
All I need them to do is get over the fear of talking in front of, the mortgage coach community and participating, just one idea. And there's no stupid idea. Everybody has to remember that. Some of those kooky things that people do are what brands them. And please share, because I just want everybody to share and participate, because it's important to me, because I'm going to take something from that and go, oh my gosh, I'm not doing that. So I want you all just to remember just to share anything that you have, no matter how crazy you think it is. There's probably somebody else that's going to identify with it.
So Michelle, are you in a place right now, like when you're done talking, because we're going to open it up to Todd, we're going to open it up to Robert. By the way, if anybody raises their hand, I will open the mic for you. We've still got 20 minutes left of this call. Could you write a post right now that basically allows people to, one, like it? So we really want to get engagement from the community. Michelle's going to come as a teacher, but she's also saying, I also want to learn from you. And anybody that wants to participate next week, we'll have them comment in your post. So are you in a place right now where you could write out a LinkedIn post and post it in our community?
I am doing it right now.
Okay. So within a matter of minutes, Michelle is going to have a Facebook post. Please, if you like next week's topic and you're going to come, just like the post. All you got to do is click like on Facebook in our Facebook group. And if you do want to raise your hand and participate, share what you're doing to be intentional about closing the year strong and preparing for Q1. Share what you're doing in comments, and then come to next week's call prepared to actually raise your hand and go to meeting. Brad, by the way, we got a new member to this call. Brad, welcome to the call. It sounds like you figured out where you can put comments, but you can also raise your hand and I can unmute you. So anybody who raises their hand, just like I unmuted Scott a few minutes ago, I can unmute you. By the way, Liz, you have raised your hand. I've unmuted you. Did you have a question or a comment, Liz?
Oh, sorry, no, I didn't.
All right. Well, by the way, now that you are on open mic,
yeah.
Is this your first call, or have you been coming to these calls?
No, I've been listening. I've been listening to Mortgage Coach off and on for years, and these calls, since I've been at Caliber, they've been extremely helpful.
Awesome. Well, if you do have a question, I'm not going to put you on the spot too much right now. But
okay.
If you do have a question, comment, or a big takeaway, feel free to either share it in comments or raise your hand again. All right?
Okay. Thanks a lot.
All right. Hey, thank you for participating, Liz. So again, she had her hand raised, but she didn't mean to. Bliss Sawyer, I'm going to unmute you real quick. What's up, Bliss?
Hey, Dave. Hi. How are you guys and Michelle?
We're good. We're good. So great job on your referral magnet video that you forwarded over to me yesterday. Love it.
Well, thank you for pushing me, right? It's it's always good to have an external person giving you that little shove to do what you know you should be doing.
Yeah, no, again, for those of you who don't know Bliss, she's a very successful loan officer. She's active in the Mortgage Coach community. We've been doing this referral magnet video contest. That's how Robert got back into the community. And Bliss, I think it was just yesterday. Was it yesterday that you forwarded this over to me?
Yeah, so I kind of ignored you for a while, so don't take it personally. I'm saying it so that you don't give up, and so maybe someone listening will pay attention. So I just ignored it because I've been so busy, and I'm like, I do video anyways. I don't really care. But then Dave sent me a little private message and said, Bliss, really, you should do this. And that competitive thing in me, right, because you're having your contest. So I'm just going to encourage everyone, just get out there and experiment. And you know what? It doesn't have to be produced. It doesn't have to be fabulous. Just experiment with it and send it in to Dave because it helps to do that. So I haven't launched it on Facebook yet because I'm kind of pondering exactly how I want to do it. And I've also got a new thing with BombBomb Video, so I think I want to do it there as well. So I've just been pondering how to do it. So yeah, I appreciate you pushing me.
Yeah, well, appreciate you being pushed. And again, it's a great community. I mean, these Friday calls are an open forum, an open mic. It's a little different than the other calls we do here at Mortgage Coach. But I am a big believer that the Mortgage Coach community of loan officers are absolutely the most successful and the highest quality loan officers in the entire mortgage business. And when we apply our creativity, you create a great video to get more referrals, then you share it with your peers. That's how we all get better. So thanks for doing that. By the way, anyone that is new to this, I just can't emphasize enough, Dan Keller won not last month, but he won the October best video. So highly recommend you check that out. 2 types of Seattle buyers. Just a very compelling video. Robert Stover said what he liked about it. He also shared what he didn't like about it and what could be better about it. So check that out. And then I want everyone to know I created another playlist so that we can showcase the winners. So for some of you that are new to this community, I created another playlist in the Mortgage Coach community. I'm clicking to it right now on my desktop just so everybody can see it. So if you go to our playlist, the actual inventory of all the different playlists we have, I created one for any time Mortgage Coach is mentioned in the market. We've got 4 videos there. and then I created one for the winners. So these are all the videos that have actually been edited. So the Dan Keller's has not been edited yet, but you can see before and after. You know, this is the one that Jenny, gosh, my computer's messing up. This is the one that Jenny did. Then the marketing team edited it and made it even better. So if you are new to the call and you have not checked this out, highly recommend it. Want to make more money in less time? This is the place to go. So Todd, I've been doing all the talking. We got 15 minutes left. Anything you want to make sure we covered? Oh, check him out. Todd is, you're not driving.
You know what?
You're not driving, are you?
No, I'm just a passenger. You know, I've been lurking here in the background and debating whether I was going to share my camera with the community. There, my daughter's hiding behind me. You probably can't see her. Car's packed to the brim. 2 dogs in the back seat, and my wife is driving. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. But I was kind of inspired by Scott Morris when he said that you know, he's had so much fun this year going through Insane Productivity, how he's more excited about the business. That kind of got me stoked, but I definitely miss hanging out there side by side with you at the WeWork space in Portland. So, you know, I got a few takeaways from the call. You know, number one, going back to Robert Stover, he's continued to show up and add value. And I've talked to a lot of you on and offline with regards to what your hope is with your videos and what you're doing. And so I would certainly encourage you guys, for a couple reasons, to jump in on his bootcamp if there's still space. Not just for him and his content, but if you think about the people who we already know have signed up from our community, if Dan Keller's going to be there, Scott Cummings, Michelle Town, and others, I think you're going to learn as much from becoming their friends and hanging out with them as you will from just being part of that, you know, what Robert's got going. I've been part of Building Champions Masters Coach now for 10 years, and, you know, there's always great content there, absolutely, but it's the time I spend with the other members that's really invaluable, and I definitely would encourage you guys to consider that. Again, I love what Scott said, how he's excited about the business. So, you know, those of you who are new to the call, we're excited you're part of the community and hope you'll be part of it. I loved having Scott Cummings jump on. He had copied me on a video he sent out to his realtors this week. So he's a video superstar and someone that we definitely can all learn from. And then lastly, I want to jump on you guys to all make sure you're helping out Michelle for her call next week. You know, I love that I'm looking down on my notes. She's going to be giving us the 3 things she does for all of her clients every year. And she was saying before the call that she had 60% of her business set up for the year at the end of the year. And so I got to imagine if you can adopt those 3 strategies that she's going to share with us next week, that it's going to help you crush your business going forward. So those are kind of my 2 cents, and I'm going to shut off because it says I've got a bad connection. But it was good seeing you guys and your smiling faces, and I'll stay here, but just on the phone.
All right. Well, hey, Todd, thanks for still being a leader on this call, even though you're a road warrior. By the way, I have started sharing my screen again, and Michelle did post the question, so I need your help for the next week's call. To keep climbing the mountain for 2018, I'm asking for 5 or more volunteers to talk about one thing you're doing that sets them apart. So, you know, 1, like the post. So think of it as like you're checking it off the list. We know, Todd and I know, again, we're the coaches here. We're not here just to talk at you. We're here to create impact for you. So like it. That way we know you've looked at this post and you're like, got it. And then if you want to consider being one of the 5, comment. Let us know what is something that you're doing. And again, you don't have to write an essay. It could be a bullet point. You know, calling all my past clients to do an annual review. Okay. I'm calling my realtors, you know, and I'm having a meeting with them, and I'm scheduling a meeting January 22nd. So you're coming into next month with a meeting on the books. Whatever it is that you're doing, here we go. Bliss Sawyer. She's teaching agents productivity strategies, setting up win by noon mastermind groups for January. Boom. Bliss, you are going to be one of the participants on next week's call. So we are 10 minutes left. By the way, Lisa, thank you, Lisa, for your comments. Love the TCA video. I'm doing one today. So, Lisa, great job on that. Please share a link to that on our Facebook group so everybody gets to see the video that you're doing. You know, want to get the word out, and I will add it to the playlist. So if you do have a question, we've got 10 minutes left. Post it here. Also, you can raise your hand. And, oh, Liz, by the way, I'm not going to call. Well, I don't know. Liz, you raised your hand again. Do you want me to call on you? You know? Oh, by the way, Lisa is going to, Lisa said she'll share. Okay, Liz, your hand's down. Liz, I think you really want to raise your hand and get asked on. If I see it up again, I'm gonna call on you. So Stover, you've been quiet for a while. We're in the last 10 minutes, so I'd like to do some just fastballs, hot potatoes. Todd, be ready for one more. What should folks do between now and next Friday's call to make the most of this community? Todd, be ready for that. Michelle, be ready for that. And Robert Stover, anything you want to talk about or share with the community right now?
No, I'm just listening. I get to learn along with everybody else, and I love what Todd said and what Michelle said. I think Michelle's going to have an exciting event next week. And I've had a couple people back channel me and go, hey, what's the link again? I think you posted it in the Bootcamp link. I think you posted it in the chat, right?
Yeah, it is posted in the GoToWebinar chat. It is posted in our Facebook private community that it won't go away. It'll always be there. And if you are watching this on YouTube right now, it is down below in the description of this video. So it's a lot of different places. So Liz, I'm unmuting you one more time just because it looks like you raised your hand again. Did you raise it intentionally, Liz, or was it an accident? All right, put you back on mute. Just want to make sure that I am there. Anybody that has a question, I want to make sure your questions get answered. So, Todd, we got 8 minutes left. Let's fastball some ideas and recommendations to help everybody maximize success over the next week.
You know, I'm thinking we got 2 months left in the year, you know, as of next week. And so I love Michelle's quote, right? Don't stop climbing the mountain just because it's the end of the year. And so I think we have to, all of us, look at what do we need to be working on now. Again, we got to keep doing our day-to-day things that we need to be doing each and every day. But what else should we be thinking about for next year, right? You see Bliss is working on a Realtor Mastermind, right? You've got Michelle. She's got her 3 things that she's going to reveal to us next week that she's doing to launch 60% of her business for next year. And so I would encourage you, when you get off of this call, right, spend 15 minutes at least, 30 minutes, right, in a jam session where you just sit there, door closed, phone down, email off, and really look at what are the ideas that I've heard today or over the past couple of months that I've thought about but I haven't actually implemented yet. And then make a plan to do that. Because I think that there's a huge opportunity where, you know, Robert kind of called us all out in the business, right? We all have this results we're shooting for, but then there's this hope and want in the middle. And I think we all need to figure out how to make 2018 a different year for us. Even if 2017 was successful, I don't think it's going to be an easy year in our industry, but I know that the people who are on this call and part of this community are going to be the cream that rises to the top. So what are those 1, 2, or 3 ideas that you can do? And then, hey, maybe jump onto Michelle's post and share it with our community. I think that would be just fabulous.
Awesome. Michelle, and by the way, I just approved about 6 people into the group. So those of you on the call, you have been approved. You are now part of this Facebook group. And if you are watching this on the YouTube channel and you are not part of our Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind group on Facebook, engage. And by the way, folks, feel free to share this group with other mortgage professionals. You know, the more quality mortgage people that we have that are part of this group, the more successful we all become together. Michelle, any thoughts you have as we wrap up today's call?
Absolutely. First, Robert, again, thank you for everything, and I'm looking forward to the group. It's going to be so much fun and a lot of learning. I love to learn. I'm kind of like a sponge. Second is I love Darren Hardy. I'm going to recommit again next year. I've been through the Insane Productivity and the Ludicrous mode. Insane Productivity, I've listened to them twice now, and I've done the Ludicrous once. And I'm going to start my year again through the modules just to refresh and remind myself of some of the things that have made me successful last year or this year. Last year will be next year, but however it works. But it always helps me. I have one of my right-hand people going through the program right now, and he's just, in the last 30 days, just some of the small, subtle changes that he's made with the suggestion and help of Darren has been incredibly helpful for him. I mean, he's like, oh my gosh, I get it now. So I would encourage anybody to do that. Sorry, my dog's coming out now. And then also I'm just going to continue to push forward because next year is going to be a different year again. Every year is different. And I'm, if anything that I am is, I think if you can't be adaptable in this business, you have to make some changes, and part of that is video, part of that is Facebook, so part of that is Instagram, Twitter. We have to be communicating with our millennials.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. So I was at the NBA, this week in Denver, Colorado. By the way, NBA Annual. So this is the biggest event that the NBA puts on. All the CEOs, heads of production, executive team from top mortgage companies are at this event. And Peyton Manning was one of the speakers. And, there was a lot of takeaways from the event. I had the honor of being on one of the panels. It was for the digital mortgage and tech. Garth Graham from Stratmore was the moderator. But I am going to do a video on my takeaways from NBA this year. But a couple of them were, it's so clear that everybody in the mortgage industry knows that technology is a bigger part of our, not just the mortgage industry, of society. Life has changed. And if you are not changing, you're done. If you're not adopting, you're done. That is just so clear. And then, I've interviewed so many of the most successful loan officers in America. And I've actually I've always had they have great communication skills. So communication is one of the paradigms of their success. And they all follow consistent processes, and they have systems, and they all build great teams and are good delegators. And I've always, they all have great energy, they all have an X factor, an energy, and a confidence that they bring to the table. I've never said this one out loud, but it's just something that's been in my head. And, they all also have something in common, is that they become, what's the word I want to say, comfortable doing uncomfortable things. Things that are uncomfortable for average loan producers are comfortable for top producers. And so I want you guys to think about that. Especially I just saw Robert's visual of, you got the vision, and then you have the results, and you fall down. And I think that's because there's some things that we're uncomfortable doing that we don't do. But successful people and the people that achieve their goals, they're clear on what those uncomfortable things are, and they get comfortable doing those things. Prospecting is a perfect example. Every time I do a survey, and I ask, how many realtors do you talk to a week, or whatever your model is? How many times are you talking to people that can refer you business? It's pretty consistent. The people that talk to the most and do it the most consistently have the highest production. And by the way, that's an uncomfortable thing. But there are other uncomfortable things. So as we kind of close out this call, I would love everybody to think about what are the uncomfortable things that you're uncomfortable doing and you're not doing. Get really clear on those on a personal level. I'm not going to put that on Facebook and ask everybody to share it, because I want you just to do that for yourself. What are the uncomfortable things you're not doing that if you did do, you'd achieve your goals? Just get some personal clarity around that. So those are my closing thoughts. I'm going to round robin one more time. Todd, any final thoughts from you?
Dude, I'm just writing down your quote. What are the uncomfortable things that you're not doing that if you did, you'd achieve your goals? I mean, that's just that's huge right there as icing on the cake for this call, because I think that's ultimately what I find day in and day out when I'm coaching loan officers and people in other businesses is you know what to do, but are you actually doing it? So I would just encourage you to take a minute and think through that and Michelle's quote from earlier, and let's get some action going, team.
Stover, fastball. You got 30 seconds of advice or any closing thoughts?
I do. You want a book tip?
Go.
All right. There's this guy out there. He runs a company called Bluefisher, and he does the impossible for his clients. You want to get married in the Vatican? He makes it happen. You want the Academy and want to have a private dinner with Andre Bocelli serenading you beneath the statue of David with the entire museum shut down? He makes it happen. And he wrote a book on how he makes it happen called Bluefishing. It will shatter folks' belief in what's possible and not possible.
Wow, Bluefishing. Stover,
I guarantee you will be interviewing him.
All right. Well, I got to figure out how to do that, but I'll make that impossible ask. I'll make it happen. You put that challenge out there. I'll make it so. Would you mind sharing a link to that in our Facebook community for everybody?
Not at all.
Thank you, Robert. Great book tip. Michelle, any fastball 30-second quick hits before we wrap up the call?
Yep. I will say something that Darren has said in all of his insane productivities and some of his Darren dailies, which is you cannot grow if you're balanced. To grow, you've got to be a little bit off balance, which means pushing yourself into the uncomfortable zone.
Beautiful closing thoughts. Everybody, this is a wrap. Please follow through with the homework assignments. Please schedule a jam session, like Todd said, so that you take some notes, you schedule it in Outlook or whatever you use. Hopefully you had a valuable hour with us today on the Mortgage Coach Friday Productivity Mastermind call. Take care, everybody.
All right.